Shit, you seriously couldn't hear any of that. Fuck, that was really good. I was really killing. Could you not hear any of that? Son of a bitch. I was doing so good. Oh my god, my first 10 minutes of my live stream. This happened, I don't know. I guess the astrology is just nuts or something. You heard nothing. Okay. Can you hear me now? You can hear me now, I'm presuming. Fuck. Alright, well, let me go back to the beginning. Let me go back to what the fuck I was... Okay, so when I started the live stream, I was in this park. Oh, I really don't even believe this. This is so terrible. Oh, did Belle Reve go out of business? Look at this, everyone. Belle Reve went out of business. That's a fucking shame. This place actually looked cool. People that live in New York now just have no idea what cool even is. You know, everything here is so fucking cheesy and like prefab and shit. Alright, so anyway, I'm in this little park over here. And I'm sitting by myself and this kind of cordoned off. Oh, I can't believe I gotta do this again. This sucks so bad. So I'm sitting in this park right here. It was that park. But I'm in this kind of segment that's off by itself, sitting by myself. And this woman kind of comes over. I'm thinking, okay, you know, that's fine. This lady's going to come over. She's going to sit near me. I'm psychologically preparing myself to have to sit near somebody, you know. And all of a sudden she stops. She pulls her pants down. I look away. Next thing I hear is pissing sound. This woman pulled her pants down, started pissing right in front of me in this park. I didn't look at any of it, so I didn't see it, but it was quite a... Yeah, and I just thought, okay, it's time to get going, time to get started with my live stream, but apparently my fucking thing was muted for the first 10 minutes. That sucks so bad. Yeah, so we're here in the dirty streets of New York, the crime-ridden, fucking soaked... the piss-soaked streets of New York City, downtown. I wish a real rain would come and fucking wash this fucking piss all over these streets, all the scum, the slime. Someday a real rain will come and wash away. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I was talking about, okay, so of course we're going to talk about the VP situation, the upgrade, Kamala in the White House, Kamala 24. How do you pronounce it? I don't even know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. Kamala. I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm with Kamala. I can't wait to fucking vote now. I think this is great. You know, they took an election. They kind of, you know, I thought it was a kind of a chess move. This is cool. There's a gallery opening going on here. There's some kind of fish. Yeah, see, this area's got a lot of art galleries. It's like younger people, but it's extremely wealthy young people. People are already wealthy. You know, we're living in Reaganomics. It's the children of rich people that get to do everything and run everything and be everything. And the rest of us will just die in obscurity without jobs, without... Yeah, so anyway, Kamala, I'm ready. I think she's going to be great. You know, if nothing, even if it's just, okay, she's a cop. We know she's a cop. I said all this already. I'm just repeating it. If you can read lips, go back. Can I AI that audio somehow? I really can't believe it. My phone records everything I fucking say. And then I turn a goddamn live stream on and it goes mute. That really pisses me off. Big time. I just can't even believe it. This woman just gave me such an ugly look for live streaming. Hey, look, welcome to the future, babe. Okay? Welcome to the future. This is what it looks like. We're just gonna have selfie sticks attached to our chest. We're just gonna have, what was that MTV show where they were like in a haunted house and they like strap a camera to the people while they're like running around like the dark haunted house? That's like the future of humanity. We're all just gonna be walking around with like body cam footage. Like doorbell cams. We're all gonna have body cam footage. We're all gonna have third-person selfie stick footage. Okay, where the fuck am I? Okay, I'm back on Broadway again. This is where I want to be. Where do I want to go? What do I want to... Okay, I'm gonna eventually end up at this sushi place. I guess I might as well fucking walk around down here for a minute. Yeah, so I was talking about, somebody requested a 5-hour marathon. So I just thought, fuck, what the hell? Why not just go live all the time? Why not just broadcast the whole fucking thing? Why not just keep fucking live streaming until I get famous, okay? I'm gonna be the guy. I will not stop live streaming until I'm fucking famous. I mean, there's nothing stopping us. You could literally fucking YouTube stream your ass all day, every day if your phone was plugged in. It's my battery dies so quickly that I'm trying to bring you the content, so hard that, the phone just burns all the fucking juice. Yeah, okay, so, we're going to talk about the chess strategy of the presidential politics. And I'm also just going to talk about film shit, because the Jim Belushi Film Festival continues. I'm an NPC streamer, okay? I'm NPC streaming, don't worry about it, okay? Pretending I'm a sim out in real life. And I have 10,000 people watching me on Twitch. No, I need to get my dual streaming. Somebody hit me to that, the other day. I gotta, I should be on Twitch. I should be on fucking... Alright, thank you for watching Input Funny. Thanks for letting me know my fucking volume was off. Hopefully other people will join. I don't give a fuck. Fuck them, They can watch it later. They might watch it later. The message trickles down in some way. Maybe not to everybody, but it does have some effect. People do listen, so I do feel like it's sort of worth doing. I got, my fucking, the live stream I did on my laptop, got 500, or 100 views. Not 500. I don't get 500 views on anything, really. But, it got over 100 views, and it was 5 hours long. Shit. The fuck is the camera? So I'm like, Jesus Christ, and it was on a bad camera, maybe that's why people watched it, because it was on a different quality thing, and they were just like clicked out of curiosity or something, but, I don't know. I just love commenting. I'm a pundit, and there's so much to talk about. So anyway, let's get into it, okay? We're going to talk about the Rafelson Nicholson. We've been doing kind of a Jack Nicholson investigation. We watched part of the Jim Belushi Canine trilogy. I thought there were only 2, but apparently Jim Belushi has made 3 cop buddy movies with dogs. They're all part of a trilogy, K9, K911, which I don't think has to do with 9/11, but who knows. And then there was another one after that, K9 2000 or some shit. And so, the Jim Belushi dog movie, honestly, was one of the best movies I've seen. It kind of had a magic. The fact that they got a dog into it just kind of takes it to a whole other level. The energy of that movie, it's just surreal on kind of like it. I don't know. It should almost be disqualified. It's like football in the groin. It's just too good. It's just too good of a movie. But we watched The Passenger, Michelangelo Antonioni, who I've seen Red Desert, and I've seen La Ventura. Nicholson has a reminiscence, an audio reminiscence on the Criterion version of La Ventura. And I remember watching La Ventura, and it was just so boring. I watched it probably when I was like 20 or something, and I just thought, this is the most boring movie I've ever seen. But the ending, it kind of pays off. It's kind of worth it. The ending's kind of powerful, but it's very slow. Back in those days, slow cinema wasn't quite so much of a dominating force in my life as it is now. Now, Antonioni was like, it just felt like it was a genre picture to me. So we watched The Passenger, which is Nicholson and Antonioni. And I'm just trying to figure out, like, what is it about Nicholson that makes him, like, the guy? He's kind of iconic in a way that, I don't know. I think he stands out even amongst guys like De Niro, Pacino, his generation of people. There's something about Jack Nicholson that kind of, and to be honest, I mean, it's his look. His look is like kind of insane. He looks like a demon. It's his forehead. He's kind of conscientious about the theatricality of how he presents himself. But honestly, I just think he's in better movies. You know, he's in, if you look at that run right after Easy Rider, I mean, we watched 5 Easy Pieces. That's an excellent fucking movie. That's another movie I saw when I was younger and just thought was so goddamn boring. I didn't understand it. It's not like I disliked it, but I just thought this movie is so boring. Or it's just, I don't know, I didn't really see what was interesting about it. Now I kind of get. It's, you know, the plot is just kind of eccentric. The way it unfolds is really interesting. To be honest, I feel like all movies should be as good as 5 Easy Pieces. Every American movie should be at least as good as 5 Easy Pieces. That's where we should, like, start. It's an interesting movie. It's well told. It's told in kind of an unusual way. It has, you know, relatable, modern kind of things presented to you, but, like, in an interesting kind of coming from, you know, out of left field way, thinking outside the box, you know, to use everybody's favorite fucking cliche. Does anybody really think outside? Where is this box? What is the box? I think everybody wants to be in the box. People are trying to feel where the box is and be like, okay, I want to be within this. I don't want to do anything that's unusual or outside the box, because then I'll be socially ostracized. I'll be weird. If I try to go outside the box and nobody likes it, if I don't get any validation for it, then that's just pathetic, you know, like. So I'm going to stay, you know, people want to be normalized and kind of socialized and like everybody that's around them. They don't want to stand out or anything, I think, in that way. Yeah, so we watched The Passenger. The Passenger really reminded me of My American Friend. The Wim Wenders movies seem to, like, really kind of, like, have a lot in common. I don't know if he worked with Antonioni. Doesn't he have some book about Antonioni or something? Wim Wenders, I think, wrote a book about his time with Antonioni. And you can kind of see, you know, the American Friend and The Passenger are both basically genre movies. They're almost like spy movies or something. You know, Jack Nicholson's in Africa, and he, you know, it's like all these fucking movies. It's got this ridiculous kind of like mistaken identity fucking thing. And a guy, it's like Don Draper, you know, he fakes and kind of assumes another guy's fucking identity. And so it's ridiculous, you know, it's just like something that would probably not happen that often in real life. But every movie is about something. This is what drives me nuts about movies. Every movie is about a heist or a murder or a guy, like, exchanging identities with another guy and living his life. It's like, what the fuck? Why are there so many movies about this? Like, I get it. Those are, like, unusual circumstances. But, I don't know. I'm more obsessed with movies that are about real life and things that are applicable to real life, things that are relatable. You know, it's like I never fucking, you know, had a guy die while I was on vacation, and I fucking, you know, took his passport and lived his life for him, and he was an arms dealer, and, you know, I got all this cash because, like, now I'm a part of these arms deals and shit. Maybe I just haven't lived an interesting life, but, you know, that's what I'm trying to do with my vlogs. I guess that's what vlogs are now. We're now just, like, in this kind of sea of fucking normal documentation, kind of eye-level content, real life. But I don't know, does the documentation capture, you know, just because it looks like life or just because it's documentary, it's like, does it actually capture what life feels like? This is where that woman pissed. Where I was sitting right there, and she pissed. This cat thinks I'm hailing it. No, I was just pointing out where this woman pissed, okay? I was not hailing the yellow cab, I'm sorry. If I want to go anywhere, I'll Uber, thank you. Um, yeah, so the passenger, oh, this is the woman that pissed right here. The passenger was, sorry. She wants a strawberry lemonade or some donuts. I mean, we saw what the strawberry lemonade is all about. We saw what it does. I don't know. I would help her. If I was rich, I'd give all homeless people money. I'd give them all money. I'd give them at least $1. Why the fuck not? That is giving to charity directly. Bam. You're putting cash in the hands of people. There's no better direct action than that. Just put cash in their hands. Alright, so what the fuck? Where am I going to go? What the hell am I going to talk about? The Passenger with Jack Nicholson? Then we watched Blow Up, which I've seen parts of Blow Up before because you can't really miss it. You know, there's just like famous kind of sequences. The thing about Blow Up is I do feel like it captures that time and kind of portrays it, but it's also like, it feels very like done in a studio. You know, like that whole gig with the Yardbirds. You know, it's meant to be like a rock gig in like swinging London in the fucking 1966 or whatever, the kind of height of that. But it's like you can tell that they did it in a studio. It's very kind of like, it feels like a movie version of that, which, you know, I kind of like. Now, once again, now that we live in just like the over documentation of everything, reality, it's kind of nice when it's theatrical, or they stage it, or they block it, or you know, it's artificial. That's actually kind of nice now. I mean, okay, last night the open mic, I started the show with this, I thought it was kind of, I don't know, it was kind of just a way to try to make it interesting, but I was like, I'm going to improvise a 10-minute play, because I wanted to do a play. There were a few ideas that I wanted to just kind of play with, about like very dialogue-heavy kind of plays, and it sucks because I filmed it, it went pretty well. You know, I basically just a play. The idea was I was talking about plays that I wanted to write and I just never written. And so it was sort of like a career retrospective of things that never happened, things I never finished, things that never, you know, because with plays, I don't know, I just never staged really that much that I had actually written. You felt like, I don't know, we just grew up in this culture where it was just like, it's not legitimate. You got to stage something that's on Broadway. You know, why would anybody want to see an original fucking play? You got to do Eric Bogosian's Suburbia again, you know, or fucking The Odd Couple, the female Odd Couple. That's right. I'm streaming, baby. It's streamers' rights today. Fighting for streamers everywhere. I swear to God, a couple years from now, this is not going to be that unusual. People are kind of looking at me now like I'm crazy. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing with the selfie stick? But 5 years from now, everybody's going to be doing this. Or there's going to be more people. They're already, you know, now it's embarrassing. You know, this is why I'm having like this kind of artistic crisis, because now it's just like everybody's fucking vlogging. You know, everybody's like micro-vlogging. Everybody's posting fucking TikTok videos about what they ate for breakfast, or get ready with me, or here's what I do in my average day as a fucking, you know, banker or whatever. Yeah, see? See, people just get it. We're already living in the fucking influencer economy. I don't know. I'm such a micro influencer, but I do feel like influence is happening. That's, even though I'm only streaming to like maybe 5 people tops, I do feel the message kind of pinging around. And I don't know. This is my wood shedding. This is my most effective form, I think, of work. I'd like to figure out how to incorporate this more into like a film. You know, that was what I was always trying to do with my movies, was like, how do I get the dialogue? How do I get more literary content? How do I make the movie literary? You know, in a certain way, cinema was not literary enough for me. You know, that's why I'm kind of obsessed with these works by playwrights, these David Mamet films, or the Aaron Sorkin fucking Being the Ricardos movie. Because it's like, okay, well, this is sort of literary. It's sort of language first, even though it's a movie image and it's cinema. You know, it's focused on the dialogue. It gets a lot, you know, a lot of our lives is dialogue. They say show and don't tell, but telling is showing. You know, talking is a lot of the action that we do. A lot of things get done because we talk. Not everything is some fucking action sequence or chase sequence, or, you know, a lot of life is just conversations. And so, you know, with movies, a lot of times you're trying to avoid that. You're trying to cut your dialogue down. You're trying to economize. Poetry, it's kind of the same thing. You're trying to economize the amount of words you're using. Show, don't tell. Put it in a metaphor. But a lot of what people like in a poem is just like smart fucking shit that they need to hear. Just like with comedy, just like with anything. You know, people just need wisdom. They need wisdom mind. And if you can just put wisdom into a fucking poem, it's like a lot of times that's more than enough. You know, the really great poets of the world, I think that's what they do, really. But they're not any better than the great people that you know. You know, a lot of great people have that kind of wisdom. They're not, you know, necessarily putting it into poetry, but like it's just present in who they are and what they say and how they act. You know, literature, in some ways, I think is a fucking way to hide. And I don't know, I'm having a crisis about my career choices, my life choices, okay? So I'm scrambling to try to fucking make something happen for myself by cranking out as much work as possible into the creator economy. I don't know, it's like, maybe this is too immediate gratification. Maybe this is like a carrot on a stick where it's just like, oh, we're building this online audience and that's like gonna be a job for us. It's like, maybe I should focus on like writing a book, doing something, you know, just trying to make it or whatever. It's like, I have no fucking clue what that even looks like today. You know, I have no idea. I have no idea what the ladder is, where it goes. You know, the influencer thing feels as valid and possible as anything. Where you're just like, I can fucking do this. I can fucking get thousands of people to watch me on the internet and pay for my life. I'm interesting. I'm, you know, but you can't and you won't. And, anyway, The Passenger, 5 bags of popcorn. I like The Passenger a lot. You know, it's another movie where it's just like, you know, it's not even necessarily, it just was kind of an interesting genre piece. It was really like a, I don't know, like a Graham Greene fucking novel or something, it felt like. Or, you know, the Patricia Highsmith thing. Maybe I'll go over here and sit for a moment. So yeah, I don't know. I think one of the things on the live streams that is effective to talk about is kind of art stuff. And it's a lecture in that way. It can be like a film class, literature class, talk about books and shit. So, I don't know. Films might be more accessible. People might actually get, you know, the thing about all the fucking films that we watch is they're all, you know, you just bootleg anything. Not that I should say that online, but it's like you just get 1, 2, 3 movies. You just 1, 2, 3 movies, that shit. The real Netflix. How many of the internet is using 1, 2, 3 movies? That's what I want to know. You know, we know how much market share Netflix has, or fucking YouTube or whatever. We know probably 90% of the movie consumption is like 1, 2, 3 movies or something like that. What happened to Vimeo? I feel like Vimeo had a big, I mean, I can't afford it. I guess I fell off the professional video bro train a long time ago, but you know, Vimeo was a big part of my life, and then just sort of stopped using it completely. I think they overplayed their hand. A lot of these tech companies. New York City's home for dodgeball. These guys are playing pickleball. Oh, this would be perfect. Get some nice pickleball action in the background for all the sports fans. So it's election coverage 2024. Once again, it's our nonstop election coverage. So we're going to be talking about movies. We're going to be talking about art, failure, being middle-aged, desperate, having a midlife crisis, questioning your choices, trying to find a path forward. Ashley's in the East Village right now. Just want to say, love you. Okay, Ashley. Love you, East Village. Good night. Yeah, it's 24/7 election coverage. Of course, we're going to be talking about the big news. President Kamala Harris, everybody, the first black woman president, first Asian woman president. I'm all in. I love it. I'm excited. I'm stoked again. I'm back. I'm re-energized. I can't believe the DNC actually made like a smart choice. That's why I'm like kind of shocked, because I'm like, Jesus Christ. They've been ramming Biden down our fucking throats. They tried to ram Hillary down our throats. Finally, I mean, don't get me wrong, like Kamala will just do whatever the fuck they want. It's all just the DNC. They're doing everything. It's not like the president does anything anymore. Other than like, you know, go to photo ops and, you know, you just got to not shit your pants at the photo ops. And, you know, to be honest, I think this is one of the things people are talking about now that Biden has look at the pickleball action, the very hot pickleball action. Biden has had the dignity to kind of step down, is like, he did a good job, I think. You know, like, I guess, who the fuck knows? I mean, he took us out of the wars. What the hell else did he do? Good shit, I think. I mean, I don't blame him for the inflation. If you look at all the fucking, love you, Ashley. If you look at all the fucking money that people got, it was all, you know, all of the fucking PPE and shit, that was all Trump. And, I can't tell which one of these is the fucking right one. And so you can't really blame him for the inflation. You know, like a lot of times when the Democrats come into office, they inherit these fucking problems. Like George Bush, the recession happened right at the end of his tenure in 2008. And Obama's got to come in, you know, basically right when it fucking happens and try to clean it up. And so, hey, if fucking, the other thing about, I still don't know how to pronounce the name. Is it Kamala? Is it Kamala? I don't know. I'm going to say Kamala. Kamala. I'm going to use both. Out of sensitivity for both possibilities. She could be president for 8 more years. Will Harris? Yes. Okay. So this is a great question. Is she a Clinton 2.0? Well, this is something I was gonna say, is like, you know, the country might just be so fucking misogynistic that just like it's just another woman that they won't vote for. You know, I think she has a little more charisma in a weird way. She's got at least something that people can kind of hook into. Like Hillary was like fucking like Kim Jong-un in like a pantsuit. And there was just so much baggage. I mean, they had been beating up on the Clintons literally since like the fucking 80s. And Hillary was their favorite. I mean, Rush Limbaugh, they all use Hillary as like just the fucking punchline of everything. And they killed Vince Foster and blah, blah, blah. The Clintons, the Clintons, the Clintons, the Clintons. People still fucking just harp on the Clintons and Clinton emails, Hillary's emails and shit. And I don't think Kamala, I don't think there's a comparable Pizzagate scandal. I mean, the worst thing people say about her is that she's a cop. All the extreme leftists, the Antifa, oh, Kamala's a cop, which I get it. She put a lot of people in jail, but that's what people like in this country. They want people to be hard on crime and like tough on, you know, for Democrats, that's not. We live in a right-wing country. We live in a right-wing theocratic oligarchy, kleptocracy. nepocracy, and I don't exactly, it seems like Kamala dated Montel Williams in the 90s, and she climbed really fast. You know, she just got elected to the Senate in 2016. The thing is, okay, she did go viral on TikTok for this coconut thing. I don't know if people have seen this. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree, and then she laughs hysterically. And I think that works to her advantage. I think, like, it's a very hopeful thing for, like, extremely young people. They get to see both sides of kind of the polarization of the internet. We've had Trump, kind of like short attention span insanity, like viral social media manipulation, and just like Trump has kind of updated the presidency in a lot of ways, for better or for worse. But I think Kamala kind of plays into the meme-ness of the whole thing in a way that actually works to her advantage, in a way that I don't really think Hillary did. Hillary was too kind of like humorless, and you know, she got cucked in front of the whole country because Bill was getting a blowjob in the office and shit. Apparently they had an open marriage. That's what I heard. Bill and Hillary had an open marriage, but they just didn't talk about it because it would be too hard to explain. That's all Bill should have said. He said, we're in a polycule. Me and Monica and Hillary and Paula. What the fuck was that lady's name? I don't know. All the fucking women. Sharon Stone. All the, I mean, he put a cigar in her vagina. Like, there's no way that guy wasn't just fucking around all the time. That's pretty kinky shit. Mark Kelly would have been the best to go up against Trump. Who the fuck knows? What's up, Adam S., my man in the house? We're talking, of course, we're talking politics. And the WWE wrestling sports entertainment of American number one. Pick your poison, number one or number two. Do you want the red pill or the blue pill? I mean, I'm ready for 8 more years of Biden. Let's have Biden be the deep state, and he'll just puppeteer Kamala. I think Kamala is going to be a fucking phenomenal president. I hope to God she doesn't lose. She probably will, because this country hates women. It hates women using, women having control over their own bodies. But I don't know. I think people should just, Trumpomania. In my last stream live last week, I mentioned Hulk a bunch of times. Hulk's going to open for Trump. And at the time, it just seemed crazy. Like, why the fuck am I even mentioning this? There you go. That's why. I did want to connect the dots between Peter Thiel, Hulk Hogan, Trump, J.D. Vance. Is Peter Thiel the one really running our culture? It seems that way. He runs Times Square, which is New York literary culture. You know, he kind of underwrites Red Scare and probably Adam Friedland and probably all this shit. Probably Jordan Peterson and all the toxic shit you see on YouTube. Peter Thiel just, like, basically buys the media. He pays for everything that we see, in a way. And he underwrote J.D. Vance. He's the one, a lot of billionaires, I think, saw somebody they could use in J.D. Vance. He kind of plays to this Rust Belt, white people, rural white people, blue collar, who've lost their jobs, meth country, drug addicts, opioids. That his whole fucking narrative is just Republican right-wing radio, AM radio about there's no jobs in coal country anymore, so everybody's on drugs now. My mama's on drugs. She's got 19 loaded handguns in her house. Isn't that hilarious? So it's super pro-gun. So I do think the J.D. Vance move was kind of a blunder. I think he picked him. I think Trump likes celebrity. J.D. Vance is a media darling. All the stupid ass, right, Eastern Seaboard. You know, people think the media is super left-wing, but it's like J.D. Vance, a lot of these people at the Today Show and shit, Meghan McCain, they're all right-wing. And, the media has just kind of like really bolstered this guy's image. That fucking Hillbilly Elegy movie, that was like Hollywood Ron Howard and shit. He's probably a super libtard. He probably is going to donate shitloads of money to Kamala. And yet, he's partially responsible for creating this J.D. Vance monster. I hope it flames out, but we might be stuck with this J.D. Vance guy for a long fucking time. He's just the perfect kind of stooge for these right-wing. He flip-flops. He'll do whatever the fuck they want him to do. He just wants to be famous. He just wants to be... There you go, Richmond, north of Richmond. What a piece of shit that was. That illustrates perfectly just like the stupidity of the fucking internet. That was one of the stupidest fucking things that ever went viral. Oliver Anthony or whatever the fucking guy's name was. That was so shitty. That just shows you that, like, this country needs help. This country is very sick. It's in need of serious help. Kamala, you need to come and rescue us. I mean, a lot of comedians are outing themselves as Trumpers. Well, because, okay, the events, the way that this shit all went down, it was like Trump almost got shot. He got shot. So he's a martyr. So he's a fucking rock star for about a week. At the RNC, fucking Kid Rock, fucking does his fucking opening, and everybody loved him, because he seemed to dodge bullets. I don't know, for whatever reason, that really endeared him to people and really kind of showed that he was chosen to them or something. It kind of made it okay for people who have probably liked Trump the whole time. A lot of comedians, I think, felt... They did it. They did it at the open mic. A bunch of people at the open mic. Yeah, Hillbilly Elegy is marketing. And it worked. And, this is something I've talked about a lot on my live stream, is how comedy is fucking right-wing. I'm constantly talking about how this club culture is right-wing. Comedy, New York City. These clubs in New York City, this supposedly blue city, this liberal fucking city. It's like if you go into fucking any of these comedy clubs in Manhattan, it's all right-wing shit. They have fucking Sherrod Small or whoever that guy is on Fox News. Jon Stewart's doing an interview with Bill O'Reilly. They're all fucking right-wing as hell. But... it was only about a week, and to be honest, I think the Democrats did the right thing. It's a way of kind of stealing back the narrative. They're not usually that smart. They usually just stick with Hillary or whoever they want to cram down our throats and just kind of expect us to go with it because the other candidate sucks. John Kerry. It's George Bush sucks, so vote for John Kerry, or... Al Gore kind of had the same problem, where it was like he didn't really have charisma. He wasn't a guy you'd like to have a beer with. I think Kamala, it remains to be seen. I think she's leading in the polls. I don't think they have the dirt on her. I don't know what her record is, I don't necessarily know that she's going to play to people in the Midwest. That was like the thing that kind of was Obama's like secret, is like he was kind of like came up in Illinois and he could kind of like relate to the blue-collar kind of dumbass Rust Belt white person. He could have a beer with some coal miner in West Virginia, and they thought, okay, Obama understands me. I don't know if Kamala has that. She just laughs. People have shit on her for the whole time. Everybody's talked about how she's a bad vice president. I don't think she's done a bad... What has she even done? What can even people point to other than, like, she goes around, she dances, she laughs... And she talks about Joe. She loves Joe. What does she do? I don't know what the hell she does. She's just like PR. I don't know. And I don't think they've been doing a bad job. And so it's sort of an incumbent. I think they're just like throwing a pinch hitter in. I think it's a smart move. I think it will get people energized. I think it'll get Gen Z, like... Millennials and Gen Z are overwhelmingly Democratic. I mean, I guess that's probably always the way it is. It's like younger people are more liberal. But I think this is going to mobilize people in a way that... Look, I don't know why people don't just... Look, it's a woman and it's not a white person. You know, to have a woman of color as the president, like, that in and of itself, to me, is like reason enough to go out. You know, everybody thinks all the fucking politicians, there's one party, and the Democrats and the Republicans are the same, and it doesn't matter who you vote for, it's the lesser two evils. So why not elect somebody that at least like fucking is pushing the boundaries and I think she'll be a good president. I think Biden's done a good job. I don't know what the hell people think Trump is going to do. People want him to be the dictator and to just do a bunch of more fucking tax cuts for rich people and threaten people. I don't know, be a bully, normalize being a dickhead, normalize, just being an aggressive asshole. Normalize being a cheater. Make everybody's lives a living hell with just like media insanity all the fucking time. Like the thing about when they elect the liberals, at least like the country's, it's like having a good pilot, It's like you don't want, the president is more like a pilot than like a fucking TV actor. People think that it's like, well, the president's like gonna be an asshole, or like it doesn't matter, it's all corporate, it's all corrupt, it's all the swamp. And so let's just elect the funniest guy. Let's elect the guy who you want to have a beer with. Let's elect George W. Bush or Trump, because at least they're funny. Like Trump, at least like he's gonna be funny for 4 years. It's like, no, do you want a pilot that like is gonna be funny, or do you want a pilot that's like not gonna crash the fucking plane? Because like, to be honest, Trump kind of crashed the fucking plane. I mean, everybody had to stay home. They canceled everything. They created inflation that wasn't there. They crashed the fucking economy. They put all these fucking small businesses at, If we had had a responsible president at that time, they could have handled that in a much more orderly fashion. It was just very chaotic, and it was very like survival of the fittest, just like whoever makes it, and fuck the small businesses, fuck the mom and pops, like let the big fish swallow the little fish, and just send everybody shitloads of money. And we don't even know how much money is fucking worth. But when the Democrats are in power, it's just like, okay, the wealth inequality is probably not going to explode. Maybe they're not going to be the greatest fucking like New Deal fucking socialist. It's just like the narrative is so crazy in this fucking country that people think that like, like Elon Musk thinks like the Democrats are like radical left. What did he say? This thing about the woke mind virus. He's going to like go out of his way to kill the woke mind virus killed his son. His son converted, they call it having a dead name. When you become trans, you have a dead name, which is like your old name. So the woke mind virus killed Elon Musk's son. Now he's going to take revenge. It's like, the country has moved way further to the fucking right. Like, even the Democrats are fucking, escalating fucking militaristically and compromising. And so, I think with representation, having a black woman president, who knows what that's going to do. It's going to piss a lot of people off, create more racism, probably cause fucking civil war to break out. They'll probably say they stole the election. We're not going to, we're not going to agree to the results. Mayhem. I don't know. But I'm a hopeful. I mean, I'm a Democrat, okay? Let me out myself as just like a libtard. I'm an extreme libtard. I am the radical left. I'm Antifa. I'm a Bernie bro. I'm a democratic socialist. I really believe in that shit. I believe in the New Deal. I believe in government programs for the artists and for poor people. The WPA, all that kind of shit. So, the more, I think the Democrats could do good things, but the Republicans just try to thwart the political process every way they can to privatize shit as much as they can. Get people to think the government sucks, the government can't do anything, the government can't manage everything. So we privatize it, so we make money off of it. We steal from the taxpayer, essentially, you know, with arms deals and shit. Just like the passenger. You know, they're selling guns. It's like they're stealing money from taxpayers, from working people. You know, they're taking money out of your paycheck. Where the fuck do you think that goes? All the people bitching about, oh, they take 20% or 30% of my money. It's like, it goes to buying guns. You know, it goes to buying big fucking planes and fucking bombs and shit. And so, you know, we might as well fucking spend that money on libraries, fucking the arts, the WPA, whatever the fuck, you know, peace, love, consciousness, YouTube. The pandemic was sort of like a dry run of a UBI, where it was like suddenly everybody had money to buy podcasting microphones and try live streaming, get on fucking TikTok. You know, it really enabled a creator economy, an influencer economy. People creating content. They had money, they had time to do it because they didn't have to fucking go to work. They were at home all day. And they had the avenues of distribution. You know, they could get on YouTube, they could get on TikTok, whatever. So I don't know. I think men just hate women. They don't want to elect a woman. I think it'd be more progressive to have a fucking woman president than maybe not than a black president, but like I mean, that's pretty crazy. Women are sort of the majority. You know, I think technically women are the majority slightly. There are slightly more women than men, just genetically. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I think statistically. And they've been the ones that have historically been indentured, and you know, the way that they figured out how to get women to tolerate men was basically they sold them to men. It was like, if you're a man, you know, the way that capitalism worked or society worked was like, if you're a man, you have to get a job doing some kind of working thing, blue collar, whatever it is, get a job, and then you can afford to have like a woman. And the woman will have to work for you because she doesn't have an income, she can't own anything. And so she'll be forced to have babies for you, and that will fund the economy, that will fund the industry. And so I think having a fucking woman president would be like way more progressive and way more kind of game change, you know? Who knows what that would do just from the top down, philosophically, temperamentally. It would be a subtle, but you know, it would change just everything, I think. And I think if women saw that, think about that. You know, women have never seen a fucking woman president. That is absolutely fucking crazy. You know, we're living in the hashtag feminism, hashtag girl boss era or whatever. It's all the Taylor Swift era. It's all fucking bullshit. It's like they don't have any fucking power. I guess they do. They have all the power, but it's just because you know, okay, you asked me why I talk so much shit about the boomers, and I've been sort of thinking about it. It's because they still have the power. You know, the people the reason why people complain about Nepo babies or trust fund kids is because it's the boomers still controlling the narrative. You know, rather than allow talent to get through or meritocracy, the boomers who control 90% of the wealth are just saying, hey, my kid is going to get the job. I'm going to give my kid a job on some HBO show, or I'm going to give him an apartment in Soho in New York because I still have the money, I still have the wealth. My kids don't have fucking anything because we never let them have anything because we just hold on to it. We rewrote all the fucking rules so we keep everything. It never trickles down. It never goes back into the economy. You know, they don't spend their money on anything. They just get more of it and store it in different kind of hoarding methods, real estate, whatever. Investment properties. And so they still control everything. And so, you know, we don't have anything. I mean, J.D. Vance is a millennial. He's 39 years old. He's my arch enemy. He's literally like everything. Like, he's from He's the same age as me. He's 39. Like, we're literally the exact same age. And he's like, I hate everything that he represents. I absolutely detest, like, everything he represents. So, his fake hillbilly shit. I'm the fake hillbilly. You ain't country, motherfucker. You went to Yale Law School, you piece of shit. You're just another academic douchebag. Academia just has way too much fucking power. You know? People just heard, oh, he went to Yale Law, and they went, oh, okay. He must be fucking smart. He was groomed, I guess. You know, there were people that sort of actively took an interest in him, helped him get his book published. Because I think, right, just like Peter Thiel, you know, just like on YouTube. These right-wing people really understand if you seed the information sources, if you buy all the AM radio stations in America and put Rush Limbaugh on them, or fucking Bill O'Reilly, or Hannity, or whoever the fuck it is, Giuliani, you just poison the information supply. That's why they have Fox News. That's why they have, you know, America First, or whatever the fucking network is called. One America. It's all propaganda. Like K9 with Jim Belushi. Did anybody hear anything I said about the Jim Belushi K9 movies? I don't know if that was before or after. The first 10 minutes of my live stream were muted. Because I got censored by YouTube. They didn't want my truth about Jim Belushi starring with K9 dogs. They're incredible. It takes a really talented actor to be able to act with a German Shepherd. And to really make the scene. Not that German Shepherd isn't talented as hell. But, you know, you really gotta be present. And, you know, he's not above that. He's not thinking I'm too good for this. I'm too good for these talking dog movies. Well, I guess the dog doesn't talk, but... yeah, so... I don't know. The politics are pretty fucking simple in this country. But people get duped by the narrative. People think Republicans are these macho cowboys. And it's a masculinity thing. It is. It's like... People don't think a woman can be president, or she'll be a bitch. What about her period? What if she gets on her period? Then what's she gonna drop a nuclear bomb while she's on her period? I don't trust anything that bleeds for 3 days and doesn't die. It's all misogyny, or we live in a misogynistic, but it's changing. I think Kamala, you know, let's put a bulwark for the future. Rather than elect another rich white guy, who we already saw this motherfucker. I mean, I think people are thirsty for Trump. People love the fucking drama. They love the movie of Trump. They love the soap opera of Trump. They love his fucking troll-ass little insults that he does to people. His viral video, kind of. And we've had enough of a break. I think they're sort of ready for him to come back. We have had a little bit of a moratorium on Trump for the last, 3-ish years. He's the only thing we know is he's going to jail. He's in the courtroom. But now he's like, then he got shot. It's like, okay, he's sort of making good content again. And all the dumbass, YouTube and social media has really enabled a whole generation of just meathead idiots. Logan Paul, who's that fucking comedian guy? All of them. But, God, there's one in particular I'm picturing. I can't remember. It's Dan or something. I mean, they all suck. They all suck. This is why poetry should take over where comedy is in the culture, because these comedians are so fucking shitty. Poets would actually have really good takes and really entertaining sound bites and shit. Things with depth in them. They should have poets as pundits on fucking CNN and on the evening news and shit. Let's get Harmony Holiday on there to talk about the president or whatever. Let's get fucking, Alice Notley on the Joe Rogan podcast. So I don't know. I'm optimistic. I mean, Kamala's probably going to drone strike people. Get ready, okay? But at least we won't have to hear about fucking Donald Trump for the next 4 or 5 years, and have him just like tease us. And intimidate us. Are they playing dodgeball? I thought this was pickleball. What other movies did I watch this fucking weekend? So K9 with Jim Belushi. Yeah, I'm recommending pieces of art for people, okay? K9 with Jim Belushi. There was a few late 80s movies with dogs. Turner and Hooch. Even Tom Hanks was like in a cop buddy movie with a dog. I don't know, is that some Reagan era? It was like, the thing about K9, it's all about the war on drugs. The dog is like busting, she almost bites this guy's dick off because he's a coke dealer. It's like, that's super Reagan era propaganda for like anti-coke, anti-drugs. And Jim Belushi is like a tool of the state in that way. And I think the writers in this country are a tool of the state. I think the MFA program, because I'm looking at my life and I'm just like, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go? I've tried to be a part of like the New York publishing industry, and like, I just don't even know what success looks like in the city. It's like, I don't have any kind of like, and I don't see it happening, frankly. I don't see myself becoming like liked by the publishing establishment. I just don't have what they're looking for. I don't play into any of the trends or, the things that they learned in their fucking Ivy League East Coast schools. Like J.D. Vance really, he has this fucking soundbite about, our country's being run by cat ladies on the East Coast who are like frustrated because they chase their career ambitions. They have no kids. It's like, that's what he did, the same thing. He went to fucking Yale. He got published by New York publishing people. They fucking kiss his ass because they think that they're telling the story of rural America. They think that this guy is like, their tunnel into the Rust Belt, and they're like doing some kind of sympathetic like thing by like, okay, this guy can like voice the struggle of like people in the middle of this country. It's like he's just trying to gain points with the East Coast establishment, and he climbed the ladder fucking fast because they want little fucking Nazi boot shiner, ass kisser like him. I've been around these people my whole life. I'm from Ohio. I was on the golf team. I've been around conservative fucking right-wing tool bags my whole life. And our society, the rules have been rewritten so people like that get ahead. People like Logan Paul, who's from Cleveland, I think. And just dumbasses. They talk about, this crisis in masculinity. It's like, well, there's no masculine role models because the internet, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's dark money or what, but it just like, it promotes the dumbest male meathead idiots. Logan Paul and fucking Hulk Hogan is introducing Trump at the RNC. It's Trumpomania. People were stoked. I mean, that doesn't surprise me. Hogan's a known racist. He has a racist sex tape where he says the N-word on his sex tape, where he's cheating on his wife with Bubba the Love Sponge's wife. Like, he's a slime bag. That's why he's funny, because he's just a total dirtbag. That's why we laugh at Hulk Hogan, because he's just a dirtbag from Florida. You don't put him at the Republican National Convention, but I guess you do. That was Trump's call. He was a little old. I thought they would get somebody, like they've had the Rock at the fucking Republican National Convention. He didn't want the Rock. He wanted Hogan. Hogan's kind of on, he's getting up there. I don't think Hogan's going to live 10 more years, to be honest. I would love to go to Hogan. Hogan's got this bar in Clearwater, Florida, where he's from or where he lives or whatever. I think he does karaoke every Monday. And like, Hogan is usually there doing karaoke. That's one of my bucket list things. So if anybody wants to make the trip to Clearwater, Florida, You go to Hulk Hogan's bar. I think we're past the point of unfriending Trumpers. Like, just because Hulk Hogan is a Trump, like, it makes sense. He's a racist idiot from Georgia. Like, his relatives probably were slave. That's why he's 6'8" and like a fucking genetic freak, because his ancestors were probably kidnapped into like some kind of slave trade or something, and we're like, that's why he lives in fucking Georgia or whatever. So he's probably a racist piece of shit. But that's, wrestling is redneck shit, and so they're appealing to rednecks. Okay, the rednecks controlled this country for some goddamn reason. The rednecks get like 6/5 of a vote. They get 8/5 of a vote. If you're a redneck, your vote counts for like twice as much as a black person in a blue state, in a blue city, in an urban center. Even though the urban centers are like the engine of this country, they far outweigh the fucking rural areas. They pay for the rural areas. The Democrats basically subsidize their fucking hillbilly cousins. They're cracked out meth head, incest, hillbilly cousins. And we love them. We love Jelly Roll with his fucking face tattoos. The face tattoo has become extremely normalized. It's not just like normalized. It's like, you gotta have a face tattoo if you want to be hot now. If you don't have a face tattoo, are you even a man? The country is so fucking traumatized. Just everybody's like a fucking sideshow freak with body modification. These people used to be freaks. Now they're just like the thought leaders, the influencers. Mike Tyson was a pioneer. He was a fashion trendsetter. It's just the most fuck my life thing you can do. It's like, oh yeah, fuck it. I'm just gonna get a face tattoo. Fuck it. Everybody's just like ready to die. I think at this point, this is part of the propaganda. The propaganda machine wants to micromanage this depression in all of us. This illness of just like, you know what? If they killed us all right now, I think we'd all be kind of okay with it. We're all just ready to be like, you know what? Fuck it. It's over. We're done. We're ready, like, is it really worth fighting for? Nothing's gonna go my way. They hate white men. No one's gonna get into my writing. I just don't see it happening. People don't want interesting things. They want celebrity memoirs. They want generic kind of trend chasing, whatever it is that year that's hot, the manuscript that fits the trend of that year. Fuck Boy by Sean Thor Conroe. It's like, even the name is like some kind of like viral term. Fuck Boy, like that's so like 2017, the word fuck boy. But it's like, that's the novel, And I've never been Twitter cool. I've never been literary. I don't know why, I think the literary culture is just weak. It's wimpy. I'm not much of a wuss. I'm not enough of a wuss. People want wussy, fragile. What happened to the Ernest Hemingway lookalike contest, huh? Writing's supposed to be about bullfighting and fucking drinking wine and getting your dick blown off in the war. God damn it. Well, writing's supposed to be about being an alcoholic, I thought. Or some kind of drug addict. Aren't most of the novels about doing drugs, I thought? It's like it's either a heroin novel or a weed or the Yadge letters. Confessions of an Opium Eater. Speed, doing Benzedrine inhalers. We're doing Benzedrine inhalers and we're writing a novel in 48 hours. The 48-hour novel festival. That's my assignment to you, open micers. For next Monday, I want you to write a novel. I want you to write an entire novel between now and next Monday. And read it. One open mic at a time. I think Fred Mulligan is doing a cool thing. He brought a cool story in last night. He's like reading it in 5 parts. So he's reading it over a series of 5 different open mics. It was really good. It was about Fort Greene and David Foster Wallace. See, I'm just not David Foster Wallace, okay? I'll never be David Foster Wallace, okay? I'll never wear a fucking headband. And, I want to meld writing with show business. Is that so wrong? But not in a showbiz memoir way. I'm not Lena Dunham writing a book, okay? Like, I'm a poet. I think I've earned it, okay? I've been in the trenches long enough. I've earned my poet status. I've earned my poetry license. And I've been a secret influence on a lot of shit that's happened. And my revolutionary literature will be discovered long after I'm dead. And they'll understand that I was just 50 fucking years ahead. And I just loved life too much to write about depressing shit. I'm not just gonna drain the sap of my trauma all over the page like every other fucking manipulative, spoiled brat tool of the state. If you have an MFA, you are a tool of the state. You have taken state supervision of your writing for a couple years. You changed your writing so it would be okay, so they would pass you, so they'd give you a degree. You probably teach at one of these institutions. You're probably passing on the fucking propaganda and the fucking bullshit ways that they want people to write. They don't want you to say, "Come on my tits, daddy," okay? They don't want throat fucking in your writing, okay? But throat fucking is a fact of life, at least in my life. I'm sorry, but that's poetry, okay? Poetry is erotic. It's about love. It's about amour. It's about being amorous. That's one of the prime motivators for why we sing. We're trying to sound good so people will have sex with us. Because they wouldn't have sex with us otherwise. You have to give them a reason, People have to have a reason to have sex with you. And so you can get it. So you show them something. And it's not even about that. It's also just about the pleasure of words, perception, description, understanding, comprehension. It's never ending. It's never endingly giving. It's just a never ending, sex. You kind of, you can only have sex probably a half dozen times a day or so, depending on your options. Poetry just never stops. It just goes on and on and on and on, and it's just always, your mind is always, I'm always mentally masturbating. Maybe that's my problem. I'm just trying to make mental masturbation into something that, I'm an OnlyFans. My poetry is my OnlyFans. It's my psychological OnlyFans, where I'm basically just touching myself. I'm fingering my third eye, the clit of my third eye. I'm sorry, this is a very X-rated stream. I'm sorry if my parents are watching. I'm sorry I said the word clit. But I'm fingering the clit of my pineal gland, okay, in my poetry. It's like this. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. Fuck yeah. Give it to me, baby. Fuck yeah. Feels fucking good. I love that shit. Poetry. That's why we read it. Because it's like the greatest mental orgasm that just never ends. It's like tantric sex mentally. I want my poetry to just be like tantric sex, endless tantric sex. I think that's what John Giorno wanted. If you listen to John Giorno, how does he get away with it? He's just a little more tasteful about how he puts things together. He would really work things over. He rehearsed his pieces a lot. He memorized them. Talking about memorization, John Giorno would memorize his pieces. And to the point that they were like monologues. He was like an actor, the way he would prepare. He had a studio, I think, in his, former YMCA loft on the Bowery. he had a studio where he would go and like practice his freaky jazz poetry and finger himself linguistically. And that's what we love about reading, right? Is the brain is the number one erogenous zone. The brain is like a big prostate. It's a big G spot, you know? You just press on that thing. And I think, you know, women are so literary. They're such readers. They're better readers than men. I don't know what happened. When men, I don't think, read as much anymore. It's just deteriorating. Male readership, I think, is deteriorating. They've just kind of left male readers. They don't write about our interests anymore. They don't write about fucking or drugs or drinking or fighting or any of that shit. It's all just about la 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 la. My trauma. My anorexia. Here's my anorexia novel. It's about my body dysmorphia. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. I'm glad we're telling that story. It's all just Oprah book club genre shit. You know, there is no literature coming out of this fucking city. It's all just Oprah book club genre shit. It's all just like, what is your what is the guilt receptacle that white people can wipe their ass in? What's the bidet that's gonna wipe white people's ass of like their guilt, of their racial like fucking genocides that they've committed against the entire planet? Let them go to Barnes & Noble and like buy a fucking book with like a cover that looks like Donkey Kong Country. Some kind of fluorescent goddamn rainforest. It's not real literature. It's not 5 Easy Pieces, okay? It's not, Blow Up was okay. I can see why Blow Up is iconic, but it was a little studio. It's a great movie. I do think I liked it better than Blowout. We watched Blowout a few, and Blowout was incredible too. But Blowout was just like an action movie, kind of in a way. It just felt like a modern action movie, and maybe it was one of the first movies that looked that way and kind of did that. But now all movies look like that. They all look anamorphic, and the framing is super like CinemaScope with a lot of stuff going on. The Passenger is way more, you know, that shot at the end of the movie where it's just like 6 minutes long, and the whole scene just plays out in kind of this long shot. Very cool, you know, very cool way to end the movie. You know, it's kind of slow, but it was a brilliant film, I thought. I really enjoyed it a lot. What the hell else did we watch? You know, movies I think are erotic in a different way. They're like noir. I want to make a noir film. I think I could actually make it. New York is like so noir. It'd be easy to make a noir film. And this is like the noir summer for me. I don't know why. It just feels like the vibe this year, you know? The kind of old... Well, we watched LA Confidential. And I heard, I don't know if this is true, but I heard LA Confidential is like the #1 movie rated on the internet. Like if you aggregate all of the internet movie rating shit, LA Confidential is like technically the greatest movie ever made. But there's certain movies that, I don't know, play really well in like voting polls, like Shawshank Redemption. If you ask your, you know, the consensus of dumbasses, you know, alive, what the greatest movie ever made, they'd probably say Shawshank Redemption or Lord of the Rings. Or maybe The Godfather if it was like, you know, older people. But it's like LA Confidential, it was kind of interesting because it was like from that era, the noir era. Like I think it takes place like 1952, but it was very realistic. Yeah, it was mid. It was very tightly scripted and crafted. I can see why people are like watching it on TNT or whatever. You know, like I'm sure it's played like ad infinitum on fucking cable, like Shawshank Redemption, because it's just one thing leads to another. It's about fucking cops. It's propaganda. It's totally about fucking cops. And I like that it's like it's what it really looked like. Like that's probably what it, you know, the suits really looked like and the cars and shit. I like Curtis Hanson. Curtis Hanson directed Wonder Boys, which I liked when I was younger. It's kind of corny, but it's a movie about writing programs. Shawshank is NPC fuel. All the jocks that I knew in high school, they loved Shawshank, they loved Gladiator. I mean, Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe was really like the man. I mean, you know, and he's in LA Confidential. He's kind of the heart of the movie. He's like the guy who wants to protect women. But he beats the shit out of, he's got a super short temper. You know, he'll beat the shit out of people because he wants to protect women so much. It's like his character has one note. And then Guy Pearce is like the nerd cop who's very ambitious. Guy Pearce reminded me of everybody I know in poetry world. Everybody who's like super ambitious, super academic, super like good at like getting in the department and just like climbing up the ranks, doing everything the right way, being kind of like a stickler about it, and just being like great about emails, being on top of the kind of bureaucracy of like the way that literary world works now, where it's just like all fucking emails and office politics. That's Guy Pearce in that movie completely. He would like fit in poetry world like 100%. He's got the glasses, and it's just not any fun. He's like a bloodless, super ambitious, fake Nepo baby. His dad was some kind of fucking lieutenant or something. But the climax is super violent in a ridiculous way. Just all these bullets are flying. So it's basically an action movie, you know, so that's why it plays on cable, because fucking all these shotgun blasts, there's all this blood in it, there's all this fucking murder and prostitution. You know, it's sort of about conspiracy in the underworld. James Ellroy is sort of an interesting writer. He's the guy who wrote the book, and I haven't read any of his books. He claims he's the best crime writer of all time. I don't know if Elmore Leonard has anything to say anything about that, but I did read the Paris Review interview with him, because it was in the same issue. I had this issue with, I think, Sam Shepard interview and some other things. And the James Ellroy interview was in it, so I do remember reading it. And he's one of these guys, like a lot of LA writers, he's not an academic. He kind of I think he dropped out of high school. His mom was like murdered in sort of a grisly way. And he's just sort of self-taught. You know, he went to the LA Public Library and just sort of learned everything there. And just like, you know, by hanging out and being kind of a dirtball. And he's kind of like one of his characters. He's kind of a sleazeball. So he understands that world. But I mean, I don't even see, that guy couldn't even exist now. He would get canceled so fucking fast. There's something in his Paris Review interview where he talks about racism. Because he talks, well, when he was younger, he was like a Nazi. If you look at his Wikipedia page, when he was younger, he was actually like a Nazi and shit. And violent and shit. And he grew up to sort of be a writer and write these kind of like hard-hitting, you know, crime novels. Because he knows that world, I guess. But his writing is kind of like Walter Winchell or some shit. It's very like gossip column and like punched up and stylized in kind of an annoying way, I think. I haven't read any, actually. I'm not really big into crime novels. I'm not into, I mean, Elmore Leonard, I read Rum Punch or something. It was okay. It wasn't like, you know, I could see why people get addicted to those, because they're kind of like these automatic, like airplane reads where just like you could just devour them and just like, you know, like binge watch them. But I'm not really into Dashiell Hammett or Raymond Chandler or any of that kind of shit. I don't like genre. I'm not into genre at all. And so LA Confidential, I thought the photography was good. You know, it's kind of denuded of the film noir cliches, the shadows, and the cinematography is always a certain way, the angles of the blinds and the hats and shit. So it was a nice looking movie that didn't really cop the same look that it might have, but yeah, it definitely didn't blow my mind as some kind of like, you know, it was, well, as you're saying, it's like mid. If you're, you know, if you thought American Beauty was like a fucking masterpiece or Gladiator, like it wasn't The fucking Passenger. It wasn't Canine with Jim Belushi, which is maybe the finest movie we watched. What the fuck else did we watch? I don't know, but movies just kind of wash over you in a different way, you know. As we move into a video-based literature, I don't know, I think it'll affect people in a different way. Like, how will we get inside people? Guy Pearce and Memento. Memento, I talked about it, that was Nolan. That was Nolan's first fucking thing. Memento, in my hometown, there was a theater that had one screen, the Drexel, and it was an art house theater, back when they had that. I don't know if that's still a thing. I guess it kind of is. But the Drexel was an art house theater, and, you know, they'd have like a new movie basically every week, every 2 weeks, maybe, if it was like a good movie. And Memento played at that fucking theater literally for like a year because it was such a fucking hit. And it was so, I mean, I saw it like 3 fucking times. Because it was just like, you know, the backward storytelling thing is kind of a gimmick, but the dude just, I don't know, at that time you were looking for movies to do stuff like that. You know, you were looking for movies to kind of like utilize the way that a movie can manipulate time chronology to like deliver surprise. And, you know, like in LA Confidential, Kevin Spacey was like the king of like twists in movies. It was like, holy shit, he's Kaiser Sose or whatever, you know. And in LA Confidential, there's a similar like spoiler alert kind of plot twist. And like you know, I think this is what the spoiler alert is about. You know, the spoiler alert became so important culturally because that was like the hit. You know, it's like that's the drug. It's like you're hooked into this narrative where they're sort of seeding this trail, and then something happens, somebody gets blown away, or some character turns, you know, in The Departed, right? Matt or DiCaprio gets blown away or whatever. And it's like, holy shit, they killed Ned Stark, or he's Kaiser Sose, or... So every fucking movie you felt like had to have some kind of wicked plot twist that really like came out of nowhere, but like surprised. The Sixth Sense, you know, it was like, holy shit, this is the biggest movie of the summer, and it's one of the best movies of the year. And it's like, oh, it's because of the fucking plot twist. And so LA Confidential kind of had that. I'm not really into plot twists, kind of fucking storytelling and shit like that. You know, I was always trying to figure out how to do that when I was writing screenplays, because it felt like you had to. You had to continuously, it's like that book Backwards and Forwards. I don't know if people have ever read that. We had to read that in theater. Backwards and Forwards. It's like you constantly have to be teasing the audience to get them to want to see the next thing. Oh, we want to see Hamlet's ghost or whatever. We want to find out who Kaiser Soze is. We want to, you know, fucking find out who killed, you know, this fucking woman who looks like Rita Hayworth. Kim Basinger won an Oscar for that movie. That's what's crazy about me. To me, it's like it kind of played into that Oscar bait, Miramax kind of era. Kevin Spacey was like the king of that. And he was such a hero. He plays this character who's sort of a hero in the movie, Jack Vincennes or whatever. He's sort of this glory boy, and but that movie is all about kind of the seedy underbelly of Hollywood, the kind of underground sex, prostitution, you know, women being abused, people being killed, gossip, you know, blackmail, pictures being taken of people in compromising positions. You know, it's like we live in that era now more than ever. I feel like people are more keyed into, oh, you know, Diddy had fucking cameras in his fucking houses, and he had blackmail and all these people, and Diddy fucked Carl Weathers from Die Hard Did he fuck Carl Winslow? I don't know if people heard that, but supposedly Diddy fucked the dad from Family Matters. One of my favorite, and I hate internet fan theories. I absolutely hate fan theories. I think they're so just like violation of. They're just too much, you know. Like people are looking for subtext, but I love the fan theory that all of the characters that Reginald VelJohnson plays are like one guy. Like the cop from Die Hard is the same guy that he is in, like, I don't know, fucking you know, Family Matters and whatever other fucking movies he's in. Predator, I don't even know. He's in a bunch of shit in the 80s. Go on TikTok, try to find that. Mystic River I've never seen. I absolutely love the moment where Sean Penn in his Oscar, you know, grab, Oscar, you know, just like pandering kind of moment. Is that my daughter in there? My brother and I used to say that too. We'd never even seen the fucking movie. We saw the trailer. And we used to always say that to each other. Is that my daughter in there? Because it was just so... He's just so intensely going there. He's just digging into, like, the most, like... You know, like... darkest things, you know, that, like, could happen to, like... But he's also doing it because he's Sean Penn. And, like, he wants that Oscar, and he wants, like, I don't know. So everything with Sean Penn is a fucking pose. His politics. He gave Zelensky his Oscar. Like, that's so pathetic. That is so pathetic. Like, that's just so fucking lame. I think Zelensky's corny, man. And not even, like, whatever he's doing with, like, his presidency. Like, good for him for, like, being a freedom fighter and shit. I'm talking about his comedy. If you've ever seen Zelensky's comedy, it's like, it's fucking corny. It's really bad and corny. And just for that, I don't like him. It's kind of like if, I don't know, who's a comparable comedian? I don't even know. Jay Leno? It'd be like if, yeah, Sean Penn of Tree of Life. Tree of Life, yeah, masterpiece. Goated. Tree of Life changed filmmaking. But yeah, Mystic River I didn't see, but I think the same people that wrote LA Confidential, one of the screenwriters of LA Confidential wrote Mystic River. And Dennis Lahan, I'm just not interested. These guys can sell books because they're crime novelists. People read that shit. I've never been... Once again, it's just genre stuff. I knew somebody that went to a creative writing program at some school in Florida, and Dennis Lahan was like one of the eminent kind of like MFA teachers of fiction. It's like, okay, if you want to write like Dennis Lahan, I don't know. Gone Girl, you know, there's all these movies that were like I'm not into that kind of neo-noir. I'm into Golf Pants. You know, I'm into fucking Cadillac, Jack Nicholson, courtside at Lakers, clocking out at 5 p.m. There's this tango scene he has with Jennifer Lopez in Blood and Wine. Blood and Wine is a classic. I don't know why Blood and Wine isn't just on cable all the time. Because it's just so... I kind of like movies that are just... Like, there's nothing demanding about it. You know, it's just easy to watch. It's not even that stylish. It's just so, like, kind of normcore or something. It's cigar aficionado core. And, yeah, Nicholson, I don't know. I think he, well, one of the reasons why I wanted to watch these Nicholson films is because there's this video where Matt Damon is talking about Nicholson told him on The Departed that if you want to be an actor, it helps if you're a writer. And he gives this example of like some material that Jack Nicholson added to the scene to sort of, you know, versus what was on the page. The page just said he killed a guy or whatever. And so he added all this other shit to sort of give it nuance and add more to the character. And so, Nicholson has played a lot of writers. He played Eugene O'Neill in Reds. He played a writer in The Last Tycoon, which is an excellent movie. I definitely recommend people to see The Last Tycoon. It was on Tubi. It's Elia Kazan movie from the 70s, and it's De Niro and Nicholson. It's the only movie, I think, with De Niro and Jack Nicholson, which I think in and of itself is worth watching. But it's actually an excellent movie about Hollywood, I thought. I mean, it's not The Godfather or something, but I like movies that are kind of like just good. You know, it's like it's just a good movie. You know, it's smart, but it's not. I mean, like fucking La Ventura is like it's a little too demanding in some instances. But Synecdoche, New York. I'll get to that in 1 minute. But Nicholson plays a writer in The Passenger. He plays a journalist. I definitely recommend King of Marvin Gardens. If people haven't seen King of Marvin Gardens, supposedly it's based on Wallace Shawn's life, but it was made in like 1973. It's basically about a fucking podcaster. Jack Nicholson plays a radio DJ who has a radio show where he basically just talks about his life. And so it was a huge... I was doing this before I saw The King of Marvin Gardens, but Eileen Miles mentions it, I think, in Inferno, talking about The King of Marvin Gardens as a great idea for poetry, where Nicholson just plays a radio DJ who just talks about his life. And it's very different than your typical Jack Nicholson character, where he's throwing shit off the table. Every Nicholson movie, he's got some kind of angry outburst. You know, I think a large part of the appeal of Nicholson is kind of this boomer, pissed off, rebel kind of thing. Just privilege. He's just so... I mean, Nicholson isn't a boomer, but I think boomers looked up to Nicholson. You know, he became famous right around the time my dad was in high school. Easy Rider, right? Was like the bomb that dropped. You know? It's like, where the fuck is Easy Rider today? Everybody's vlogging Easy Rider. It's all RV journeys and shit. Van life. But, so Nicholson kind of approaches it like a writer, and I think he's wrote a lot of movies. He wrote Head, the Monkees movie, and he wrote a lot of the early movies he was in, Ride the Whirlwind or whatever the fuck. I don't know exactly the whole Jack Nicholson story, but the way I understand it, he was sort of a drug dealer, just kind of like hipster who kind of hung out around Hollywood for a long time before he sort of broke through an Easy Rider. But he wrote movies. He would hang out at this place, Poopies, which I guess was the coffee house where all the actors would hang out. I don't know where that is now. Is that the Comedy Shop? Where do the actors hang out? Is it Times Square? Where's the fucking Poopies of today? I would hang out at Poopies if there was Poopies. Is it KGB? Is it Pete's Candy Store? Where's the Poopies? Is it Black Spring Books? Synecdoche, New York. I do think Charlie Kaufman was like kind of a big thing for me. Adaptation definitely was like a huge thing when I saw it in high school, because it presented so well all of the issues that I had with screenwriting. And why can't you make a movie about a flower? You know, why can't you make a movie about nothing, essentially? And in fact, he was right. You can. That's what fucking vlogs are and TikTok is. You know, people want content about nothing. They want get ready with me videos or mukbang videos or, you know, box opening videos. I mean, what could be more nothing than that? But that's the satisfaction. That's basically what a plot twist is giving you. That's what The Usual Suspects is giving you. That's what LA Confidential is giving you. It's basically a box opening video. What's in the box? 7, right? What's in the box? That's a box opening video. 7. It's just 3 hours long. It's directed by David Fincher. Kevin Spacey's in that, too. The Clinton adjacent Epstein Island. He was on the plane. Sex offender begging for his fortune on fucking Piers Morgan. He can't afford his opulent Baltimore townhouse anymore because he can't get any work. As he's always playing creepy ass fucking characters. American Beauty, right? That's a perfect example. He's like a fucking pedo. It's like he showed us who he was. He told us who he was. Kevin Spacey been telling us, okay? So Synecdoche, New York was the first movie Charlie Kaufman directed. But, you know, Eternal Sunshine, all the movies before that. Fucking Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, the Chuck Barris memoir, directed by George Clooney, is like basically like a fucking Maxim. It's like a Axe body spray ad come to life. But I like the Chuck Barris book. I'm sympathetic to The Gong Show. And it's Charlie Kaufman, so I do think Charlie Kaufman's a little bit... I haven't seen the more recent shit with Jesse Plemons and shit. I tried to watch a little bit of it. It was a little too Midwestern for me. I didn't see the claymation one either. I love the seizure scene. I know I shouldn't say that, but if you watch my first vlog of Scenes from a Life, if you go back and watch the early episodes, which I encourage people to do, it's my 10 years of Scenes from a Life in August 2014. 2024 will be 10 years of Scenes from a Life. So I've been vlogging for 10 years. And one of my first vlogs, I filmed that scene from Synecdoche, New York, where Philip Seymour Hoffman's like having a seizure. Because he's just so good at that kind of stuff. I mean, Philip Seymour Hoffman would do stuff that was just like so intense and like embarrassing, and like he would just go to realms of human behavior that like are pretty extreme corners. But he'd be convincing, you know, in his kind of recreation of them. And I find that stuff, I like that kind of acting. I like that kind of extreme kind of performance art. But I mean, Philip Seymour Hoffman was probably the most naturalistic actor who was alive, to be honest. Until he died, you know. Just everything he did just felt real. His line deliveries, his behavior, like... so we lost a real one. I mean, he was a generational talent, for sure. And Synecdoche, New York, I just really related to that character where he's like creating, well, he's creating another New York, right? He's building another New York, but it's sort of about how he's kind of like just trying to like capture life. You know, he keeps building on and on and on and giving people more direction. And, oh, interesting. Yeah, that's true. He is a very like West Village kind of luminary. He belongs on the mural with Jack Kerouac and everybody else, I think. He went to NYU. But he went to Automatic Slims, I guess, a lot. And Labyrinth Theater Company is over in Westbeth. And that was like his theater company. Where he like did Macbeth and shit. So he lived somewhere over there on Hudson or something. That's where he OD'd. Somewhere on like West 12th. I remember when it happened. My girlfriend at the time, like, she didn't live in New York. And she like sent me a message. Like, asking me if I was going there and blah, blah, blah. You know, that was about 10 years ago. When I first moved to New York, he was still alive. You know, they were like filming a movie with Philip Seymour Hoffman in the East Village. When I got, like the first week I was here, I was like, oh shit, this is pretty cool. This is where I want to be, you know. I will say that movie where Philip Seymour Hoffman plays a gasoline addict, Love, Liza. Probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I hated it when I saw it. I probably like it now. That's often the case with movies that I hate. It's like I hate them when I see them originally, but like later I'm like, oh shit, this was actually a fucking masterpiece. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I included the Synecdoche, New York clip in the show, because I was like, this is basically what I'm trying to do, is just like film New York, rebuild New York, create kind of a scale model of New York, create this huge, you know, New York, I think, inspires people to work in a huge scale, you know, because there's just so many buildings, so many people, everything's huge. You're encouraged to be huge here, you know, the sky's the limit. You know, if you really want to be a huge, huge artist, they live here. Louis, or, you know, The Tonight Show is here, Saturday Night Live, fucking, you name it, you know. And there's, you know, like there's this guy, there's a book where he's like drawing every single building in New York, right? And it's like he has a book of like all these fucking buildings he's drawn. And, you know, New York just kind of inspires that replication, repetition, just big, huge, hulking, big novel, The Bonfire of the Vanities, I think more people should go for that. More, Underworld, More people should write huge fucking novels. More people should tell huge fucking stories. That's why I live stream for 5 hours. That's why I make vlogs that are 3 hours long. That's why my New York book, I'm sent away for it, so I will get the proofs for my New York book in the next couple weeks. Look, I hope to get money. Maybe I could crowdsource a pressing. I'd like, it'd be nice if I could press 100 copies. I think that would probably cost several $100s. It'd probably cost at least $500. But it's my New York super novel, and it's a companion to my vlogs. The idea is you can read it. It's all the zines I've done since the pandemic. Since I came back to New York in March 2021. It's everything I've written since, basically, and published. Collected in one book. It's like 300 pages. So I'd like to publish that. But at the same time with New York, we're small. We're little ants in the ant farm, So it's like with my poetry, it's like every line, every letter, every syllable is a little character, literally. It's a little person walking around the big city. The stanzas are kind of the rooms. The poems are kind of the buildings. And they build this huge fucking thing over hundreds and hundreds of pages. But they're also very small. You can go in and read one stanza or one line. You can think about, don't fuck with my drugs. Don't fuck with my drugs. Or, jail's been good for me. Jail's been good for me, okay? These are lines that, are meant to be savored. Yeah, I'd love to do another podcast. I'm going to talk more about some of the questions you asked here at length. I only have 10% battery left, so I think what I'm going to do maybe is jump off, and then I'm going to get something to eat and then go home, and maybe I'll jump back on later. So I'll maybe get back on around 11 or something, or 12 even, for an hour or two. Because I want to deliver more value to you, the viewer. I want to get more money for your dollar here. More lecture, more mansplaining, more yapping, more talk piece. And I hope I'm not being redundant. That's why I like people asking things in the chat. Because if I'll talk about any goddamn thing. Anything you want to hear about. But I am also constantly worried. I'm repeating myself, saying things I said last time. But I also want to talk about the movies, because I do think the art recommendations are accessible to people, or it's something they can take with them. Whereas, if I'm talking about my personal life or something, it's okay, that might be a lady taking a piss on the street. I don't know if people saw that. Apparently, the first 10 minutes of my live stream were muted. But, that's funny and everything, but I want there to be real value. And I want to use everything that goes on in my life. So, I'm thinking about, why are we watching all these film noir films? Why are we watching all these Jack Nicholson films? The Shining, he plays a writer, right? Ooh, look at the shadow on my face. Right? He's the ultimate writer. He's the writer in the fucking Overlook Hotel. So he's the ultimate, the last male, the last father, the last provider, the last family patriarch. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. All stream and no sitting in Bleecker Park. All right. That's the place to be depressed, though. I mean, sitting in Bleecker Park is the greatest place on earth to be depressed. Especially on foggy, rainy days. Those film noir nights. So we got to make a film noir. I think I could make a good film noir. After watching all these fucking movies, Go to an open mic. The open mics, there's always people. There's always community. There's always. After watching all these new movies, I'm like, I think I could make a better movie than 90% of these movies, to be honest. You know, and a lot of them are good movies. You know, it's just like you just have to tell a story that's interesting and have some memorable dialogue, have some cool shots, get hot people, you know, get good, interesting people, and get good performances, you know. That's what I try to do with my vlogs, anyway. So, anyway, delve into the vlogs, continue watching. I'm going to go to this sushi. I ordered sushi from Japan. Trying to be hipper in my playlist at Easy Paradise. We had a great night last night. It was a good turnout. No major disasters. I mean, some people were pissed because they didn't get to go up early, but I don't know. That's the price you pay for, you know, the spotlight, I guess. A chance at the spotlight in the big anthill of New York. So we're thinking small, we're thinking big. We're contrasting the two. We'll be back on in a few hours for more election coverage, everybody. I'm going to get some sushi, and we'll talk to you soon, okay? Thank you for watching. I'll be in Lower Manhattan. I'll be back on in just a little while. Hopefully I'll be unmuted.